Hello, dear friends. Warm greetings from Atlantida Ecovillage in Colombia. I felt the impulse to send a voice to all our relations in faraway places connected to us through the Ecovillage movement and the path of the medicine and the ceremonies and the Red Road and the path of the dances of universal peace and Sufism, all these paths that weave us together as I see it as just one family. I thought that I wanted to make it easier and more beautiful for you, my friends, add some images and some footage of our beloved Atlantida. And please excuse my English, it's just for friends and family. So I want to start by how we are now as a collective system, as humanity, as a collective being that we all are together in something similar to the near to death experience. This strong traumatic circumstances that triggers usually strong changes within. So I think it's very important to fully open to that pain, to that fear, to that anxiety of not knowing what is going to happen, how it's going to happen. And it looks like it will continue to happen. It's highly likely to be followed by a very strong economic depression. And, and this is nothing compared to what is just around the corner in terms of climate change and all the distress in the planetary systems that are building up. Early on this year, 2020, I organized a teleconference called Engage Sufism. I'm going to leave the link to the document with the abstract of what happened there. And I still consider that that's one of the main invitations of the present times. It's just that now it's a little bit more urgent. It's like knocking on the door really heavily. And I think it's going to knock on the door more and more strongly as time passes by. To engage fully in what we call spirituality, but it's not spirituality in the classic way of understanding of something detached from the earth or detached from society. One of the starting points is focusing on privilege, and most of the people involved in this kind of movements and spiritual seeking or alternative networks are people with some degree of privilege. And one of the curtains, one of the veils that is falling apart is this veil of unconscious privilege. And engaged spirituality calls us to have the capacity to really look inside the functioning of our mind, the functioning of our personality, and start to have the capacity to dismantle the traits of what we call in Gaia University the patrix, that matrix of oppression, who is the base of power and functioning and meaning of the current global society. And this is not easy. Trying to really incarnate the new paradigm and trying to incarnate a planetary conscious, a Christ conscious, of course, is not easy to let go and leave behind the old patterns. One example is the old pattern of duality and the constant confrontation between good and evil, and how we are absolutely ready, and it's very easy for us to choose who is the good and who is the bad. And this is this is old paradigm. This is part of the Patrix, and it's a very good example because it shows how even those who are trying to fight injustice or to fight, I don't know, let's say corporations, they end up entangled in the same logic and use the same logic to run their fight. In that case, they choose corporations as the bad guys, or they choose the oppressor as the bad guy, or they choose capitalism as the bad guy. But is the same type of dualistic logic of it's good and bad, to declare the war against the virus, because it's so easy to have an enemy and then put all the energy in fighting that enemy. But of course, that has taken us away from the causes that gave rise to this pandemic, or taken us away from a new way of understanding virology and immune systems. And it's the same logic. It's the same logic. Is finding the enemy outside. Is finding something to oppose to. We're not gonna go anywhere doing war against anything, because what we're seeing in action when corporations make their business is human nature. Everything is human nature. It is us that has made this society possible, and it is human nature who is behind those personalities of the people in control. So we are called to be a little bit more open to a less simplistic solution. We are called to have the capacity to bear witness something even more complex and more difficult, because it's easier to go into war with something or someone, but it's much difficult to check in what part of us is being played, and contemplate how everything that we hate is inside of us exists also in us, because we also have the full human nature inside. So I think these times are really calling us to enact that old phrase of be the change you want to see in the world. But really, you know, like, why still living from later on the big decisions of big changes in our life? Why not do it now? So if you only had just a few years remaining of life, uh, what do you think you'll do with your life? It's nice to ask these questions because we don't know when we're gonna die. We don't know when some of our beloved ones is gonna die. Now, death is really dancing around the whole planet, and the whole planet, the whole planetary system, is on that stage of just a few years before big crashes. Many of us, we've been trying to deliver this message for years, saying, okay, watch out, we're approaching to the bottle's neck. Humanity is getting into that crucial turning point. And the current situation, the pandemic, has helped us deliver this message of saying, okay, it's for real, it's here, it's now, it's happening right now. So let's say we were traveling on the Titanic, and then they announce through the corridors, okay, the ship is sinking, and what will you do? This is exactly what is happening now. If your answer is, well, I'll try to be one of those who are going to be saved, um, okay, are you doing that now? Or if your answer is, I'll try to help as much people as possible to be safe, we are sinking. What are we going to do? Now it's impossible to deny it. The big crisis is here. And what are we going to do? We're going to try to continue putting emphasis and effort in getting more storage capacity on our devices, more stuff, more fame, more name, more reputation, more money. And I'm not here to sell you any answers. I think there's a thousand answers for these questions and a thousand ways to respond creatively to the crisis. But I'll tell you one thing: if I knew I only had 1 month for living, to be alive, I will still plant some trees. I've been planting lots of trees. I guess it's just time to do something good, something of value, something that is worth this whole drama, this whole catastrophe that is behind us in terms of social and ecological distress, something that it's of value. And one good clue of what is that is help. Just help. Help someone, help something, get involved in making the situation better. Engage inwardly and outwardly. Inwardly, engage with a full, wholehearted seek of meaning, of really tapping into that mystery that dwells inside of us, of really uncovering the mysterious, wonderful human nature. Launch yourself into that mystery without any parachute and live as if you were carrying God inside, because we are. We are walking altars. We can create sacredness with every action we do. We need full awareness to contemplate that reality. Engage, get involved outwardly also. It's totally okay, and it's such a blessing to self-appoint yourself as a volunteer of life. There's still so much to do to defend and protect trees, forests, oceans, communities, cultures, nations, and amazing movements to join hands and support with all your talents. Movements like the Universal Declaration of the Legal Rights of Nature. And here in Atlantida, we are in a very unprivileged area, and we're surrounded by indigenous groups, every corner, every direction, 20 minutes that way, 20 minutes that way, and also very poor communities of peasants and Afro descendants. And there's so much to do, so much degraded land around also, so much missing forests that we are, in that way, we're very blessed and very lucky to be here in this place where sometimes it's not easy to be in this type of regions, in this type of context. But on the other hand, there's so much to do, and we're doing it with our capacity, with what we can, and I hope someday you can give us a hand. Someday you can engage and get involved with us in making a difference and restoring so many things that can be restored. And I really hope someday we get together again, my dear friends. I hope we hold hands again. We make our circle. I really hope to see you here at our beautiful altar. Now that we don't take it for granted, our gatherings and our beautiful ceremonies and circles, I hope next time we can have the best of the best of the best of the gatherings, of the ceremonies, acknowledging all that you are already doing. Have this gratitude for what already is in place, what already is moving, all the good things, the things of value that all of us are doing, and deeper and wider door to transit into a full enactment of our dreams, of our values, of who we are. Planetary family, we we are meaningful together.